best revenge is none. Heal, move on, and don't become like those who hurt you. That's gonna be the quote and the topic for today's video because we're gonna be talking about how we shouldn't be holding grudges against other people and how forgiving is better than holding all that hatred in your heart. So, without further talking, let's hop into it. So, as the quote says, the best way to go on with a bad situation is to not hold grudges, to not be thinking, I need to get my revenge, because that's only fueling your hatred. Because as long as you're thinking about revenge, you're still hating and you're still having that negativity inside your heart. And to be honest, it's only hurting you and nobody else. First of all, there are situations where maybe, it's a big maybe, you can, think about revenge depending on some things. But I personally and normally always think every single person will get whatever they deserve. Like in so many situations, we get mad about some things. And obviously, from our perspective, we are right. And it's okay for us to be mad about those situations. But sometimes, from our perspective, the other person is so bad and it's just, horrible for what they did to us. And from the other side, for this other person's perspective, they were just doing whatever they needed to do according to how they grew up, according to how they perceive life in order to survive. I'm sure you've hurt somebody, even if it wasn't, intentional. I'm sure at some point in your life, you've hurt someone and you didn't even notice it, or maybe you knew, but at the same time, you were trying to protect yourself. You were trying to do what you thought it was best for you. And by doing that, you hurt someone. It wasn't your intention. It's not like you're a bad person, but you did, intentionally or unintentionally. And then that other person, from their perspective, they're seeing you as the bad one. But you aren't really a bad person. And so I like to think that in some occasions, when somebody hurts us, we don't really know always if that person was trying to hurt us on purpose or if it wasn't intentional. If they were just trying to protect themselves or defend themselves, or they weren't really trying to hurt us. It was just something that, maybe we were collateral damage or whatever. There are so many situations. And I'm not trying to defend the other person. Like, if they hurt you, it's not good. But what I'm trying to say is we've seen in movies, in real life, I've seen it in real life, where I knew both perspectives of a fight that I wasn't involved in, but I knew the story of both sides, and none of them was trying to hurt the other person, but both sides were hurting and both sides were trying to get their revenge on the other person. But the real problem didn't happen because it was an intentional thing to hurt the other person, It just wasn't a misunderstanding, and both sides held grudges against the other person when it wasn't that much of a big thing, and none of them were bad people. And so that taught me that sometimes we're just so focused in our hurting, and it's okay, I'm not saying not, but we start to focus on hurting the other person when we don't have the full picture. Unless you have the full picture, I don't think revenge is always the best way to go. Now, with that being said, going back to hatred and forgiving or not forgiving, no matter how big the problem was, no matter how hurt you were, I'm not talking about revenge now. I'm talking about that hatred, about all that negativity that it's just sitting inside your heart and it's not going anywhere. And it's only hurting you because that other person, they might have wronged you, but they're just continuing with their lives. And you're there sitting with all that negativity eating you while the other person is living their life. And you can't allow that for yourself. So forgive. Please just forgive. Not for the other person. The other person doesn't deserve that. But forgive for yourself. Because as long as you're not forgiving the other person, it's gonna stay with you. It's not going anywhere. So forgive for yourself. Let go. They hurt you. Life will get to them. Trust me, it will. In the most direct or indirect way, it's gonna get to them. Trust me. I can't even begin to mention the different ways that life could get to them. but it's gonna get to them. You might see it, you might notice it, like that's what you get because of what you did to me. Or you might not notice it. Maybe it's something that it will hurt them, but it's, we a lot of the time hurt, but we don't say it to the rest of the world. We hurt, but in private. So maybe karma or whatever you believe in, karma, the universe, God, it will get to them, and you might see it, you might not. That person might be suffering the consequences of what they did to you in a more private way. You won't see it, but that person surely will be. Because any person that does bad thing for other people intentionally, remember that, because on some occasions we hurt people, but we don't know it, we don't notice it. And you wouldn't want that for yourself, to hurt someone without noticing it, and then life getting back to you for something that you didn't even do on purpose. As long as your intentions are pure, then trust me, life will be amazing for you. But when I say life will be amazing for you, it doesn't mean that your life will be just a happy sunshine always. In life, we have to have ups and downs. So just because you're going through some downs doesn't mean that life hates you, the universe, God, wherever you believe in hates you. No, it's just part of life. But I'm just getting into a whole other topic for another video. But yeah, as I was saying, don't hold that hatred into your heart because it's only hurting you. And so, in order to move on, to be happy, forgive them. I had a situation where I had a fight with a girl. It was a big fight. Everyone knew about it at school and everything. And she did some terrible things. And so, after some time, she asked me to forgive her. And she said that she reflected on everything she did. She knew that she was wrong and everything. And she asked me to forgive her. And everything was so public. It was in high school, and we were really close friends. And so when we fought, everyone knew about it. And for like a week or something, everyone was asking me, "Did you get in a fight with her? Did you get in a fight with her? Are you no longer friends?" All that drama. And then when like a couple of weeks later, when she came to me and she asked me to forgive her, it was also very public. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're talking. What are they saying? Blah, blah, blah." And so she asked me to forgive her. I forgave her. And after that, everyone came to me and they were like, "What did you say? What did you say?" I said, well, she asked me to forgive her, and I did. And the faces, oh my goodness, the faces. Everyone was like, "Are you seriously forgiving her? How could you, after everything she did to you?" For a second, it made me feel like I was a fool because they were literally looking at me like I was a fool. How could you forgive her? They were thinking that I was stupid, that I was so innocent, that I was, But I decided to ignore all those faces because I knew that I was doing the best for myself. And the best for myself, it was to just let everything pass. Just put it back in the past. I forgave her. Doesn't mean I just went back to being her best friend. No, it means that I learned my lesson. I know how to navigate this person. I don't know, I don't think that's well said, but I knew how to treat her. I knew how much I could trust her. I learned my lesson, and that's it. I took it and I moved on. I was happy because every single time I saw her, I didn't feel all that negativity inside my heart. Because when you hate someone, the second you see her or him, you start to think, "Ugh, there she is, there he is," all that thing. And I didn't want that for myself. It was a lot of negativity to go on every single day because I saw her all the time. And so I decided to just let that go. And I was happy. You know, everything in life happens for a reason. If you get into a fight, if somebody hurts you, if everything is part of the puzzle. If somebody comes at you and hurts you and you didn't do anything, maybe that person is someone that was close to you and they hurt you out of nowhere, because that's what happened with me. That was a lesson for me. It was God. I believe in God. I'm gonna be saying God. So when that happened, it was a God just taking away that girl out of my life because she wasn't any good for me. And trust me, I know it. I now when I look back, I'm like, she was no good for me. So thank God she left, and thank God we stayed in good terms. So whatever life throws at you, just take it gracefully. Try to see, what is this situation trying to teach me? Is this person hurting me? Maybe for trusting her, and I shouldn't have. So God is trying to teach me to not trust her, and maybe it's trying to take her away from my life. And in a previous episode, we talked about how we shouldn't fear change and things leaving us, because everything in life happens to us for a reason. Maybe it's a good reason, and maybe you would think it's a bad reason, but in reality, it's a good reason. Because sometimes bad situations are just the best thing in our life, but disguised in a bad thing. So I'm just gonna keep this as the last note, and I hope I got to make you see hatred in a different way. I hope that I got to change a little bit your perspective, and that you're gonna remember to always look for yourself, because you're the only thing that you have. You're the most valuable thing that you have, and you'll always only have yourself. Bye.